Hello, everyone, from South Florida to Kharkiv, Ukraine. This is Let's Talk with Robert Asencio and Larisa Svechin on our series following up on Ukraine. With us today, we have Nataliia Popova, the counsel to the military council or advisor to the military council in Kharkiv, Ukraine. She has joined us today to give us an update on what's going on in Kharkiv. The Federation has begun bombing once again, the city of Kharkiv, and we know that there's a number of injured. Nataliia and Larisa, thank you for joining us. We know you're very busy. We know you're doing this at extreme danger to yourself. Please tell us what's going on and what do you want our audience to hear?
Наталья, доброе утро. Спрашивает, что бы вы хотели нам рассказать, про что происходит сейчас?
Я нахожусь в Харькове, в одном из городов-миллионников в Украине. Вчера армия Российской Федерации обстреляла наш город, центр города. Пострадали жилые дома, пострадали детские площадки, сквер, территория возле рынка. Было ранено 17 человек, среди которых 9-летняя девочка, за жизнь которой до сих пор борются. Погибло 8 человек, в том числе 5-месячный ребенок, которого из рук отца вырвало ударной волной и просто забросило на козырек подъезда. Его тело мы искали дольше всего.
Okay, so she's just reminding us that she's in Kharkiv, and last night, they had a bombing. 17 people were wounded. So 8 people were killed. One of them, a baby that was literally just ripped out of the arms of the father and just flew across the ground. They again were bombing residential homes, children's playgrounds, the square, the main area of the city where people congregate.
Все раненые и погибшие — это гражданские люди.
They're all civilian people, not military, all civilians. Да, продолжайте, пожалуйста.
К сожалению, ситуация складывается так, что люди, находясь 3 месяца вне дома, многие, те, кто уехали, кто-то уехал в Европу, кто-то на западную часть Украины, они возвращаются домой, потому что они просто устали, у них закончились деньги, у них закончились просто эмоциональные силы находиться там. Они возвращаются в Харьков, армия Российской Федерации просто наносит точечно массированные удары по всем спальным районам, где находится больше всего гражданских.
So the people that have been gone for 3 months, they've run out of resources, they've run out of money, so they are trying to return home. And as a result, the Russian army is bombing those small towns and suburbs of Kharkiv in an effort to target these people.
Параллельно с этим мы столкнулись с ситуацией, что у нас происходят задержки с поставкой оружия от наших партнеров из Европы, и все чаще и чаще от оппозиционных политиков мы слышим, что нам необходимо прекратить поставлять оружие в Украину по той причине, что в Европе будет нехватка зерна. То есть в какой-то момент у меня такое чувство, что они приравнивают стоимость, извиняюсь, что утрирую, килограмма зерна к жизням детей, которые гибнут, к жизням младенцев, которые гибнут здесь. И на данный момент фактически прекратились поставки оружия, мы надеемся на их возобновление.
So her biggest concern right now is that they have a delay in getting the resources that they were getting, the artillery and the weaponry from Europe and the U.S. There's a large delay, and she says that there is conversations that the Europe and is concerned about their ability to get grain from Ukraine, and that they are basically weighing the literal 3 kilograms of grain versus that of a child of civilians in Ukraine in order to figure out what it is they're going to do as far as continuing to assist Kharkiv.
Сейчас основная надежда, которую испытывает наша страна, это, конечно же, партнерские дружественные отношения с Великобританией и Соединенными Штатами Америки. Потому что только своевременные поставки оружия от них позволят нам сдержать россиян на Донбассе и не позволить им замкнуть кольцо вокруг десятков, сотен тысяч украинцев, которые еще не успели покинуть те территории и находятся под регулярными обстрелами. Фактически выехать оттуда крайне сложно.
So their only hope that she wants us to hear and know about is really the Great Britain and the U.S. and having that support, because right now the concern is the evacuation of the people in Donbass in that area. She says that at this point there's no way for them to evacuate because they are being heavily bombed. And again, these are civilians.
За последнюю неделю они нанесли 3 ракетных удара, с Белгорода, возможно, с Каспийского моря, но с Белгорода это те, которые мы успели засечь. И, к сожалению, нашей системы воздушной защиты просто не хватило, и они достигли своих целей.
In the last bombings, which were 3 rockets from, she believes, from Belgrade and the Caspian Sea, they were unable to stop them. And that mission which they had, the Russian Federation, they were very successful.
What's the proximity of Kharkiv to the Russian border?
Роберт спрашивает из Харькова, как далеко до российского
Граница.
границы, да, спасибо.
40 километров от центра города. Но по факту до позиции вот на данный момент, насколько их удалось отогнать от города, они находятся в 20 километрах от города.
So it's 40 kilometers from the center of Kharkiv, but they are about 20 kilometers away right now.
So the proximity makes them a greater target for the Russians. Let me ask you, what is the condition of the buildings and what's the life like living in this war zone? I guess the buildings are destroyed. The vehicles are they still driving in the car? Can you give us a perspective of what it's like, what the landscape looks like in Kharkiv right now?
So, Роберт спрашивает, если вы могли объяснить, как там в городе насчет домов, машины едут, вообще как люди сейчас там.
Вы должны понимать, что Харьков это достаточно, извиняюсь, большой город, и на данный момент у нас пострадало от артиллерийских обстрелов порядка 3000 домов, 500 домов не подлежит восстановлению вообще, 50 школ пострадали, порядка 60 садиков, то есть разрушение колоссальное. Но в город возвращаются люди возвращаются в подвалы. Мы даже запустили работу метрополитена по той причине, что нагрузка огромная в городе, людям нужно перемещаться. Но даже в метро выделили зоны, в которых люди продолжают во время бомбежек ночевать.
So she wants to explain that Kharkiv is a very large city. So to give you a sense of, there have been 50 schools that have been destroyed. I believe she said 60 preschools, but regardless, people need to return. So they are sleeping in basements in the metro. Наталья, вы сказали, сколько домов разбили?
Безвозвратно разрушено больше 500 домов. Пострадало 3000 домов, это в которые были попадания ракетами, снарядами.
So over 500 buildings are destroyed. Over 3,000 houses have been in one way or another bombed, either destroyed or not livable.
So sad. And the tragedy continues. So can you convey to her that I will be sending this video to the White House press corps as well as the number of congressmen that are on both sides of the aisle for them to get a personal insight as to Natalia's story. What would she like to tell them?
Наталья, Роберт хотел сказать, что он будет это видео посылать в правительство Вашингтон, Д.С., чтобы они это видели и слышали именно от вас. Что бы вы хотели им сказать сейчас?
Поддерживайте Украину, насколько это возможно, и прилагайте абсолютно все усилия, потому что сейчас и за свободу всей Европы борьба и война происходит на территории моей страны, на территории Украины. Здесь гибнут дети, здесь гибнут женщины и старики. Они не заслуживают этого, они должны жить, и мы вместе с вами, Соединенными Штатами Америки, должны показать всему миру, что демократия превыше всего.
She wants them to know that the war in Europe, this war is being fought in her country, and that women, children, the elderly are dying. This is nothing that they have done, and that they are fighting for democracy. And together with the assistance and the support of the United States. They believe that they will win, but they do need that support from the U.S. to continue to fight.
We are speaking with Nataliia Popova, the advisor to the Civilian Council of the city of Kharkiv, that have become, the civilians are actually the soldiers now. For all audience, the public, Nataliia, I can't tell you how much we pray for you, but let us know if there's anything that else we can do for you to get this message out, to get the stories out. You are very important to us. We want to make sure that we can see each other at a better time during peace. Thank you
Спасибо
for
за
being here.
поддержку.
She said, "Thank you."
I know that she's pressed for time. Larisa, do you have a couple minutes to kind of digest what she said?
I do.
So we can thank her, and you know, I know she needs to get off, and I know that she's in immense danger every time she transmits, so we don't want to
Да.
cause any more harm. here.
Наталья, спасибо большое опять, что вы вернулись, и мы надеемся, что мы скоро будем разговаривать и, может быть, даже видеть друг друга, ну, в других обстановок. Мы желаем вам успехи, и мы молимся за вас, мы очень беспокоимся, и мы надеемся вас скоро увидеть.
Спасибо.
Спасибо вам.
Спасибо. Пока.
Пока.
Thank you. Wow, very impactful. What are your thoughts?
You know, I just feel I couldn't, the things that she was saying were so really overwhelming for me to hear. So for me to try to translate it at the same time is so challenging. Her last words, I don't even feel like I did it justice. What she was really trying to relay is that they're fighting for democracy. And that is the most important thing that we all have, right? And our support is just, it's not just instrumental. Without our support, they're not going to be able to keep up that resistance.
You know, and it's really important to understand that as Nataliia speaks about this, she herself was a victim of a bombing. She mentioned last time she was with us that her apartment or her house or structure where she was in, she was bombed and she laid on the ground unconscious for about 24 hours or like semi-conscious. That's just incredible trauma to revisit every time she talks to us. And you were mentioning to me, reminded me that she had limited time because there's a possibility of even her being tracked and targeted. So these people want to get their stories out. It's important for us to continue to share their stories. Larisa, kind of change it to something else a little more to deal with you. Congratulations on your graduation. I know you're up at Boston and Harvard. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's you know, it's surreal. You have this commencement that we had yesterday with the commencement speaker, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she was actually talking about this. She was talking about the need to preserve and fight for democracy and how delicate it is. So you're sitting there thinking you're in this very privileged place with all these amazing, super smart people that hopefully are going to go out and do good in the world. And at the same time, I'm thinking about how we're going to have this update from Nataliia in Kharkiv, and how things could just turn on a dime, because I'm sure that a year ago she didn't believe she would be where she is. She was a top aide working for the municipal government of the city.
And now she's a soldier, combatant, a strategist, probably a liaison to the community.
She's probably an expert now in this. And this is
something that she probably should never, no human should ever have to go through.
Exactly.
So what can we do? What message do you want to give the local community? I know that you also are pressed for time, but what final thoughts do you have for our audience?
I think that the message is that, first of all, we are very, very lucky to be able to speak to her because, again, like you said, she's putting herself in danger every time she does that, but she's also bringing the message home to us and reminding us that they're still fighting, and that children, the idea of a 5-month-old baby being ripped out of the arms of the father and dying right in front of him because of a bomb is just so horrendous. You can't even imagine it. And obviously, what we just experienced here in our own country with the murder of children here in Texas, it is overwhelming. And as a parent, as someone that is a leader in the community, I think that it's important that our local leaders really understand how we're so connected to our own residents, to our own citizens, to people in Texas, to people in Kharkiv, and we have an obligation to try to protect as many people and children as possible.
I think you couldn't have said it better. Doing better, right? Preparing yourself to be able to serve others, and by doing that, we serve ourselves. I would think.
Absolutely.
So you know that what happened a couple days ago in Texas has not gone unnoticed. It's hit the globe. It's anytime there's loss of life, innocent life, we all should feel it, and we should all do everything possible to prevent it. The people in Ukraine today are fighting for their democracy, their freedoms, something in which we have here in this country, and we often take for granted, but we must fight to ensure that we have our freedoms and that our freedoms are restored and maintained always. Larisa, I can't thank you enough for joining me again. We look forward to the next conversation. For those of you watching, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, share, retweet. Just continue to help us get the information out, because this story is so impactful. Any last parting thoughts, ma'am?
Thank you. As always, thank you to you. Thank you to the Millers. I really appreciate the opportunity to continue talking about this and reminding people of what's happening around the world, but specifically in Ukraine.
Well, until next time, please drop us a line. Let us know what you think. We have been speaking with my co-host, the former mayor of the city of Sunny Isles, who we expect big things from you now, post-graduation, to continue your work with the public. Look forward to speaking to you next time.
Thank you.
all.